Hello and welcome to TYROLIT Tool School. The topic for today is going to be CERABOND X, the new generation CERABOND X that we have today. CERABOND X, cutting, slitting discs, grinding disc, and so on and so on. That's what the topic for today. So the first thing that I would like to start with is going to be our new cutting disc. Our new cutting disc, the CERABOND X cutting disc or slitting disc as they would call it in the UK, is the new 125 by 1 millimeters or 115 by 1. And what is new about that is it is made with our own grain, meaning we actually produce and make the grains here in Schwaz, in Austria, Tyrol, just across the railroad. That's basically where we're doing that. So it's our own product, completely made with our own grain, new developed, new design grain for the tin cutting discs. So this is great news. The reason why is because it brings the wheel to a level of performance which is absolutely tremendous. So you get actually a much better performance from that. If we would take comparable discs, you're going to be about 25% more cuts you're going to be doing with this disc. So this is quite cool. So you get faster cutting, better cutting, longer lifetime, and also more comfortable. You don't need to work with a lot of pressure. The disc just does that. It's absolutely nice to do that, nice to see that, nice to experience that. Where is it going to be used on? That can be steel. That can be stainless steel. That can be hardened material. Example given is hard docks, tungsten carbide welding seams, stuff like that. So anything that is also a bit tougher to cut, the disc will do it. So this is an extremely good product. Packaging is also new designed. Why did we design the packaging like? So you have a small container for your packaging. You open the container, you have a package to soak up humidity. Why soak up humidity? Is to keep the disc in the best possible environment to give you the best possible performance. So as long as you do that and you keep everything closed, the disc will stay at a level of performance which is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely doing the best you can have. So you take a disc out, you close that again, and it stays like that. It's absolutely, the packaging for that is designed to keep the disc at the best possible level of performance. So the 125 by 1, and the demonstration that I'm going to do with it is actually I'm going to cut on a 30 millimeter full stainless steel material. So I'm going to do about 10 cuts to show you how the disc performs that, how the cut goes, is smooth, and so on, so that you have a bit of an idea on the result, on the performance of that disc. So as usual, what I do like to have to do demonstrations with a disc like that is a machine with a bit of power. So to me it does make a difference. Not everybody, well, I think it may, no, not I think, I know it makes a difference. So this is to me quite important. And now we're gonna have a look at what this can do. So 10 cuts on full material. Let's take a new disc and see how that difference looks like. There we go. Nice in the middle. Look at that. I've lost about, well, if I look at it like that, on 3 millimeters perhaps on diameter. So the disc done that easy, no pressure, no effort. It actually slides through that. It is a nice disc to work with. It's quick, it's good cutting, and the lifetime is sensational. So 10 cuts on 30 millimeter full material, stainless steel, that's actually well done for that disc. This is a good performance for something like that. So this is the new generation CERABOND X cutting disc. Absolutely well done. So this is the first product that we have now. This is the one. What else do we have in the CERABOND X range is, of course, the grinding discs. Grinding discs, all familiar with that. The grinding disc that we have, the CERABOND X 2-in-1. This is the disc that actually will work on steel, on stainless steel, on hardox, on tungsten carbide, welding seams, any material where you need to remove a lot of material as fast as possible. That's the disc that actually will do that. This is definitely a great disc to work on parts like that. So what's the benefit of the CERABOND X grinding disc? You have fast cutting grains in there, the CERABOND X, the ceramic grain. You have a bonding system that actually will work optimal to keep the disc as long as possible. So the lifetime of the disc is great, and it is absolutely a thing that will take off a lot of material of a lot of different materials, like, as I said, steel, stainless, hardox, and so on and so on and so on. So that's what the disc will do. Of course, we also have the smaller one, the 125x7, the smaller disc, the one that is used on a normal regular rounded grinder. So I'm going to show you a little bit of those too. And then the one that is less known, but also there quite interesting, is the 125x4, a 4 millimeter disc that actually can be used for grinding and cutting operations. So if you work in a foundry, steel foundry or something like that, where you need to cut off a feeder, you can cut it off with the 4 millimeter and then actually grind it down with exactly the same disc. I'll demonstrate that also quickly to you, because it's something that a lot of people are not aware that actually something like this exists, to show you what it can do. So what I'm going to do is, this is still a little bit hot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a piece of hardox with the smaller disc. So we have a piece of hardox here that I will work on, and I'll start with the large one, the large machine, on the piece of steel cast that I have here, to show you how that removes the material. Then I'll switch to the smaller ones, the 125x4, to show you that, how that works. Also, in order for welding preparation, so I will do a little bit of a cut in the hardox material to show how it can cut into if you do or going to welding preparation. All right, very good. So, as you can see, the removal on that part is quite substantial. There's a lot of things. Before it was uneven. Now I eagle-eyed, leveled everything. The only thing that I've done is at the end, I just cut in there to show you how fast it actually goes into that material. When it gouges in, if you use too much force, the disc actually is very, very aggressive. So you can see that there's a lot of material that has been gone on that. Then we go to the part of Hardox. Remember, that was just a 4mm disc, a thin one. So a thin disc that actually was working on that, not a problem whatsoever. I actually cut a little part out of that, and to show you what I mean by welding preparation with a 4mm disc, you see that. This is basically a cut into the material. I'll show it there as well. There we go. You can see that. That is actually a serious cut into that material that can be used for welding preparation. So it can cut parts, it can cut in order for welding. So this is actually great with a 4mm CERABOND X disc. The ceramic mineral will actually go through that very, very quickly without a problem, even without overheating. Does it get hot? Yes, but it doesn't overheat. Also, the disc wasn't even a new disc that I started with, is still doing very, very well. Although I was working on Hardox material, there's not a problem for that disc whatsoever. So the CERABOND X actually works pretty good on that. This is the CERABOND X 2-in-1 range with a harder bonding system. Now, for those applications, or guys that are working with it, that rather have something softer on the bigger wheels, the 178, the 230, we do have, and I do apologize because it's still the old logo, it's still the old label on that one, there's the CERABOND X Comfort. The Comfort is a quality that is going to be softer. It means that it will wear down a little bit faster than the 2-in-1 normal, the regular one, but the stock removal, because of that different binding system, it will be higher. So this is even more aggressive than the one that I just shown you. So you gain time. Because of lifetime, you will reduce cost concerning the changing of the wheels. This is a disc testing in order to save money. It does speed up the process. It saves you time on changing of the wheel, so the changing time of that actually reduces the cost using material like that. So you have two different qualities. You have the 2-in-1 normal, that's a harder one, the longevity of that, and you have the Comfort one, more comfortable to work with, and the speed of work is going to go up on that. So this is the range that we have as a 2-in-1 CERABOND X Comfort and the CERABOND X normal. So absolutely great stuff to play and to work with. What else do we have? We have the flap discs. Flap discs, that would be the CERABOND X flap disc. So I've taken as a sample to do this, I've taken my favorite one. My favorite one is a 28N. 28N means you have a plastic backing. Plastic is partially made out of recycled plastic, very thin on the outside. The reason why is if you work with that, you actually can work in a steeper angle, and when the backing touches the workpiece, it will trim itself. It will get actually smaller like that. If you do this, the disc will actually get smaller and allows you to work almost at a full 100% of use of those flaps, which is great, because if you have a normal glass fiber backing, it's very difficult to do that if you work like that. So that's already a benefit. Second, of course, because of the ceramic grain and the top size you have on that, the cooling layer that is on top of that disc, you actually have less heat development during the grinding, which is, of course, if you work on stainless steel, a benefit. Now, not only that, the 28N is actually the flaps themselves. They have been compressed. So meaning they're less flexible, they're more rigid, they're stable. That means that the disc is designed to work on edges. I know this is a bit over the top, but I would define it as the CERABOND X C-trim. It's a disc that actually will work very well on edges, which I will show you, can work perfectly on beveling material, so, and also be used on, of course, removing of welding seams. So demonstration that I will do is I'm going to work a little bit on about 4 millimeter, 4 millimeters stainless steel plate, and I really will remove all upstanding parts, will gouge into that, will show you what the disc can do or what it can withstand if it's being abused. So that's the first demonstration I do. And the second one that I will do is a normal application, is the removal of the welding seam on this tube that is welded together. So to remove that welding seam on that one side. So also that you can see that, of course, for normal application, the disc can absolutely be useful. Can be used without a problem. So there we go. That was a bit too fast. There we go. So first things first, look at that. So I actually recreated what was before there. So leveled everything there, then gouge in there, removed all that in the middle, then taken down as well. So this is the result you get with the CERABOND X C-trim. So this is kind of cool. This is because of the compression of the flaps that allow you to do that, and the cooling layer that is on the disc. Then remove of the welding seam on this part, not a problem whatsoever. You can actually see that it's not, of course it's a bit coarse because it's a 40 grit ceramic. So if you want to refine that, you can actually do that with the surface conditioning disc. Works absolutely well. And now look at the disc itself. You can absolutely see a normal wear of the disc. No burning whatsoever. It's just a normal wear that you see there. The flaps are slowly deconstructing themselves, as they should, also because of the abuse that I've done on that stainless steel part. So the CERABOND X flap disc, absolutely, for stainless steel, an ideal disc. Absolutely brilliant. Can you use it on steel? Of course you can. It's not a problem. So it works on both materials very well. So this is what I wanted to show you on the CERABOND X flap disc. What else do we have? We have the CERABOND X. I need to remove a little bit of dust. CERABOND X fiber disc. CERABOND X fiber disc in the packaging that come like that. So you have a small spindle that actually compresses the disc so that they stay nice and flat. So if that would not be the case, you take them out of the package, out of box, bag, whatever. You take them out, they start to deform because of humidity. It's a fiber disc. So with that, with a little bit of compression on there, they stay nice and flat. You take out what you need, put that back on, Not a problem whatsoever. They can stay in a car, in a van, no problem. They'll stay nice flat. It's a benefit you have. The disc itself, it's a conventional ceramic grain that has been specially treated, that gives you a performance that is good. This is a disc that is price quality wise, we can do quite a bit with that. It's a disc you need to try, the operator needs to try it. Are we going to win everything? Most likely not. But we can win quite a bit because the disc takes off a lot of material fast, has a good lifetime. So overall, price quality, a great product. What else do you need for that product? Is a backup pad. The backup pad needs to be hard. Like the one that you see here is fairly thick, has cooling ribs on that so that you have less heat development during the grinding, and it is stable. It doesn't bend through, and this is how you get the best use out of your fiber disc in a coarse grit size. Coarse meaning 24, 40, perhaps even a 60 you could do depending on what you want to do with it, but 24, 36, 40, that's what you use this backup pad for. It's basically the ideal combination. What am I going to do with it is I'm going to do a little bit of stock removal on a welding seam. There we go. We're going to take off welding seams as quickly as possible. That side there, we're going to do that. There we go, those two. We're going to try to take off as quickly as possible and then look how the disc looks after that and how fast that went. I must admit, this goes fairly quickly. Nice and flat. Welding seams have been removed in the shortest possible time. And now let's look at the disc itself as well. There you see a little bit of white. That's the top size that is acting, that is working. So this is that white that comes out of that. Also you see the heads of the grain that are getting free. Absolutely doing well. This disc has still a lot of life in there. This has been nothing for that. So this, for work like that, beveling, welding removal, welders, welding removal, and so on and so on. This is the disc that actually works well, and price quality, you absolutely have a very, very interesting tool there. So this is the CERABOND X fiber disc with the hard backup pad and the container for the disc like that. What else do we have as last on the CERABOND X range for today is the natural fiber disc. The natural fiber disc is basically where before on the fiber disc I need a backup pad. The natural fiber disc doesn't need a backup pad because the backup pad has been integrated in the whole thing. So you have layers of jute glued together, I would say. On top of that, we bring on the abrasive, press it in the shape that you see now. There we go, you can see that, the shape. And this is hardened out, and you actually get that kind of disc that you can put on the machine like that without an additional backup pad. What is the benefit of a disc like that? Is if you have a weld, on a fillet weld in a place that you need to level down without damaging that upstanding part, this disc can do that. You go to that, push it down, absolutely works well. If you need to bevel on big parts like that, pipes, tubes, and so on and so on, this is actually the disc that works very, very cool on that, very good on that. Works also cool. Why does it work cool? Because you have a top size on that, an additional layer for cooler grinding on the different materials. That can be steel, that can be stainless steel. It will reduce the heat development. Also, the backing itself that is integrated will develop less heat in comparison to a normal backer pad for a fiber disc. So you will have less heat development on that part. There are countries that are extremely doing well with that. I must congratulate one of our colleagues in Brazil. He's doing a super job with this product. It really works for him and his customers very, very well. So this is one of the things. It's a quite unique disc. It is a quite unique disc. You get a good life out of that. Also, for instance, you work in a steep angle, you only work 4 or 5 millimeter of the disc, that the material, the abrasive material is disappearing. So at some point you can actually trim it. You go to an edge, you trim it, you make it a little bit smaller, you can keep on working. You actually trim away the part that has been used and you continue with the rest of the disc. That actually maximizes the lifetime of this disc. So what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to show you on a part how I actually could represent a fillet weld, how I would work on that. That I'm going to do. And for that also, one of the benefits, one of the things that I like to use is also this small accessory. It's a distance holder. So it places this slightly a bit more up on the machine, still within the guard, and also this goes nicely in it, so you can actually work really flat with the disc. I'll show you when it goes on the machine. Do you always need that? No, not, of course not. But it gives more options on the use of the disc. Look at that. Within the guard, and I can use this absolutely, the whole part I can use absolutely flat. So for any stock removal works and so on and so on, this becomes very, very interesting. So the part that I want is that. No, I'm going to show you different like this. There's going to be more. There we go. Going to work on that. And then after that, I'm going to go to the big pipe and chamfer that part. So, what did we do? First of all, with the disc, remove all that, and then really go in it like this. You get this kind of a shape. Now let's look at the damage to the disc. By doing something like that, there's nothing on there. Also, what I've done is, I went to at the end I went to the side, trimmed actually the disc a little bit so it gets a little bit smaller. So I remove the part of the disc that has been used most. So if you work a lot in steep angles, you can actually trim the disc to get a bit of life out of that. And then second, I've done chamfer, bevel, the whole part on that tube, on that pipe, this part here. So nice and flat. Now, yep, there we go, still there. So this is well done, and it makes it quite comfortable doing that with this disc. So this is what I wanted to tell you about the range CERABOND X. There are two things that I need to add to that, and the other one is the, where is it? Is the one for cast iron. There we go. Because of all the dust, I didn't see it anymore. The cast iron CERABOND X is the grinding disc that we have for cast iron and steel cast. So this is the disc for that. Also available as a comfort disc. And the last one that you can actually also see in the last tool school we've done, the CERABOND X for rail cutting, those parts. So you get lifetime and speed is the things that you get with that disc. So you will do more cuts with this wheel, and you will actually have a faster cut in something like that. So you combine speed and lifetime with this disc and comfort for the operator. It cuts easily. It makes it easier for the operator to work with a disc like that. Makes it more practical. He gains time by that, and he gains time because he will change less discs. So this is completing the range that we have on the CERABOND X. This is what I want to tell you, going from the new tin cutting disc, the new tin slitting discs, to the grinding discs, to the flap fiber, the natural fiber, and then of course rail cutting discs that we have. So thank you very much for being here. I wish you all the best. Till next time, take care, be well. Cheers, bye-bye.